From Washington Community High School in Babcock Field, Mid-Illini Conference football is about ready to go. The Dunlap Eagles fly to town to take on the Washington Panthers in a high-stakes rivalry matchup. Good evening, everybody, and alongside John Camosa, I'm Gavin Russell. We're here for a big week 7. We're coming down the home stretch, John. It's sure to be a good one.
Oh, it certainly is, Gavin, and you could almost call this game kind of the chase for second place right now. Pekin controls their own destiny, but these are two teams coming in at 3-1. Really big game on the line tonight. Dunlap 4-2, Washington 500 on the season at 3-3. This is sure to be a good Mid-Illini Conference battle.
It's going to be a great battle, and you got to think even more important, making the state playoffs. Washington probably normally find themselves in the mix for first place in the Mid-Illini, but need 2 wins in the last 3 weeks to qualify for the state playoffs.
Yeah, that's a tall task. You have a Dunlap team in town tonight, and you know they're a really good team, Dunlap here. So for Washington to get this win tonight, that'd be huge. Equally as big for Dunlap to pull this out and be playoff eligible. Certainly
is, and we've got some keys of the game, John. Definitely both teams have to do some critical things to be able to make this a success. What are some keys for both teams?
Yeah, for Dunlap, let's start with limiting mistakes. I mean, we've seen that throughout the season, especially in the game against Pekin. Had a lot of false starts. And late in the season like this, Gavin, especially the regular season, pushing for the playoffs, you want to eliminate those mistakes, put yourself in good position, and then also pressure the quarterback. And that's their defense pressuring Jake Stewart. He has the ability to air it out. They want to make sure they can put pressure on him.
Certainly will. And it's chocked full of star talent, too. Of course, maybe you could say a little bit of a down year for Washington. They lost a lot of seniors from last year, but we've seen multiple players step up in a big way.
Yeah, and those are the keys for Washington, and that starts with pounding the rock. You're going to get the ball to your running back, Keenan McQuarrie. He's been so dominant on the ground this season. It all starts in the run game. If the pass attack isn't working, you stay on the ground with your senior leader, and then also zero in on Graham Glover. Such a good wide receiver for the Dunlap Eagles, so Washington's secondary going to want to put pressure on Glover tonight.
Certainly will. Before we get going tonight, we want to take a quick minute to recognize our sponsors for tonight's game. Let's go ahead and hear first from Ufdre.
In-stock 22s, inbound 23s, fresh trade-ins. Score the upgrade you've always wanted during the Total Sales Blitz at every Ufdring Auto Group dealer. New inventory is in stock and inbound, and we're taking custom orders every day. UfdringAutoGroup.com.
Thanks to Ufdring for sponsoring us. Also sponsored tonight by Jake Weston State Farm. You can give him a call. Jake Weston in Washington, 309-444-4441, or at jakewestoninsurance.com. And, of course, all of our other great agents in the Peoria area. Call any of the good neighbors from Peoria. Jody Brown in Peoria, Zach Butler in Pekin. Also happy to have Kep's Sports Bar and Grill from Washington on for tonight's game. Make sure to visit all of our great local businesses and people in the community. Awesome to see them continuing to support high school athletics. About ready to go for this one, the Washington Panthers introducing the roster tonight. It is a full house here, and you can just definitely tell, despite it being a chilly night, John, it's football weather, and the atmosphere is electric.
Yeah, it is, and as we're getting closer to the playoffs, it's definitely that playoff weather. We're starting to feel chilly, about 47 degrees here just before kickoff, so we are set for a good contest, and you can see Dunlap bringing a good crowd on the opposing side. Both teams going to be fired up for this one. It's a good way to start Friday night.
It's going to be a fantastic Friday night. There's a lot of great games going on around the area, but this is certainly among the best. Student sections are fired up from both sides. Look, got a pink out theme here for Washington and a blackout theme over for the Eagles nest over there. Student sections are definitely a lifeblood. They bring so much energy to these games, John.
Yeah, that's one thing that's just so cool to see in the area, especially with the Mid-Illini. Pekin's got a great student section, Washington, Dunlap, Metamora, and just bringing that energy to the game. And we've talked to a lot of players throughout the season, and they feed off that energy. So I think it definitely helps Washington having that home fan base on hand tonight.
Certainly is. About ready for kickoff. In Washington, we're glad you've joined us, whether you didn't want to make the trip out to brave the cold tonight. Maybe you're watching from abroad. We're glad you've joined us here on ClutchSportsIsle.com. We'll have all the live action from tonight's game. Plenty of additional coverage as well. We'll get you scores from around the area, standings, what to look forward to in coming weeks as well, all throughout this broadcast. So fasten those seatbelts. We're in for a wild ride tonight. Any final thoughts before we get kickoff, John?
Yeah, I think it's one thing you're going to want to start with, and we've talked about this in other games, but starting that momentum early. I think Dunlap's got a chance to get the ball here, make a statement. Equally the same for Washington, want to come out and make a big defensive stop.
Certainly big keys to this game. Coughlin kicking off. The whistle blows and we are ready to go. It's live from Washington. Kickoff is underway. It's going to be fielded around the 10-yard line. Taken back, picks up a couple blocker. He's almost through an open hole, but tripped up by a Panther there. A decent return on the play. Braden Orr, the running back for the Eagles, brings it back just shy of the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that's another player you're going to want to key in on if you're Washington's defense. Braden Orr, such a powerful running back there for the Eagles. It's another playmaker out there alongside Graham Glover.
Certainly is. Eagles line up here 1st and 10. Two receivers out to the near side. Man in motion is Pitts. Burke, the senior quarterback. He'll take the snap. He's going to hand it up to Orr up the middle. Finds one, maybe two blocks. Gets a few yards on that first play. We've seen at times, John, you've seen this Eagles team a handful of times this season. They've had trouble running between the tackles. Getting a nice solid run, though, to start the game right there. Brings up about 2nd and 5.
Yeah, that's what's going to be big tonight is that blocking up front. They got a solid offensive line that, is capable of providing those blocks, but you want to make sure you're opening those holes against a solid defensive line like Washington.
2nd and 5 it is. Here's Orr again. Was stopped up pretty quickly there, and again, just a couple more. You mentioned a big defensive stop early on here. Washington chance to force a 3-and-out on a 3rd and short.
Yeah, and coming out and making a statement. Washington trying to do that to get another stop here on 3rd down. Chance to get the ball back, but if Dunlap can get this 1st down, they're capable of driving downfield. We've seen that throughout the season.
3 receivers out now. Burke takes the snap. He's going to roll out, looking to pass. He's going to take it himself and run, but tripped up quickly, and he is going to be short of a 1st down.
It's a nice tackle around the outside there. Good idea by Burke, though. Nobody opened downfield, kept it himself, but going to come up just a little bit short.
4th and 1, and the punt unit comes on. So big first stop from the Panthers and gets a nice support round of applause from the home faithful.
Washington a chance to come out and make a statement here. And, Gavin, it'll be interesting to see. They kept it on the ground a lot. Dunlap on that first possession. Washington likes to run the ball a lot too, but they've been known to pass as well.
Here's the punt. Send it down to the other side of the field. A fair catch by McQueary, and he'll have it just past the 30-yard line as Washington will take over for their first offensive drive of the day. What should our viewers be looking for on this Washington offense, John?
Yeah, look for some early touches from McQuarrie here. They're going to want to get him involved. He's a player that can, if he finds an opening, he can pick you up some big yardage. But don't be surprised if they throw a couple pass plays in there as well. Jake Stewart's really kind of came into his own as the season's been going on and turned into a really solid quarterback for Washington.
Panthers line up 1st and 10. Handed up the middle. Nothing going on there. Big defensive line from the Dunlap Eagles.
Carried by the Panthers 44, Jace Harlan.
And Harwin there.
Tackled by 57.
Tries to get through that line, but Gavin, as you mentioned, Dunlap's defensive line, it's very strong up front, and they can get in there in a hurry. Not a lot going for Washington, but chance to bounce back on this next play.
2nd and 7. Going to hand it up the gut again. He's going to fight forward for a few more yards. Going to be shy of the 1st down. So, again, another 3rd and short. Both defenses holding pretty steady early on.
And it's all starting up there, that front line. Defensive line for Dunlap and Washington just showed that on the last drive. And that's going to be big tonight. Both teams like to run the ball. That line's going to have to be really keyed in all game.
3rd and 3. Just getting started. He's going to fake the handoff off the middle. Fighting forward, that's 25. Jacob Walker, the junior. And it looks like he will be very close to the 1st down marker. Depends on the spot. Let's see if they give it to him. Are they going to be generous? I think they're going to bring a measurement out here.
Yeah, it's going to be close. But I like what Washington's doing, getting some other guys some touches. You think Dunlap on the scouting report maybe keying in on Keenan McQuarrie, but 2 other guys getting a touch there.
They do like to mix it up. One thing I definitely noticed watching them earlier this year when they played Metamora, they definitely went to some freshmen, some sophomores, definitely some people that you wouldn't maybe initially see on the scouting report, and it's going to be short by a matter of inches.
Washington is just shy of.
And you would think Washington stays on the field, obviously goes for this one. Another opportunity to just run that ball right up the middle again.
What would you do in this situation? Give it to maybe McQuarrie or let maybe Jake Stewart on a keeper?
It's inches, so if they can get that snap off and don't make a mistake, just get it right in Stewart's hands, I'd elect to keep it with your quarterback. But McQuarrie, he's very good on these short down plays, so might give it to your leader.
4th and inches. Takes the snap. They're going to pitch it back out. Plenty of great blocks right there, and he will have more than enough for a first down. Went with the pitch. They didn't want to go right up the middle, and it worked perfectly. They'll get first down.
And how about the block by McQuarrie? Kind of limping, though, after the fact. Comes off the field. Hope he's okay after that. But what a block there to open the hole for your running back, able to get that first down. It's a great play.
Great play indeed. It'll move the sticks. First down of the game for either side. Pretty early on, though. New set of downs. Senior quarterback Jake Stewart under center again. And it's fumbled, and the Eagles pick it up, and it is going to be a touchdown. A botched play right there, a fumble, and a touchdown for Dunlap.
Oh, Gavin, that happened so quick. I don't think anyone quite expected that. Just looked like a regular fumble. Might have bounced out of bounds, but no. Took a nice hop right in Dunlap's hands, able to run it back for 6. And how about a turn of events? Washington with a good drive, and then Dunlap able to turn them over.
I didn't quite catch who got that. It happened in such a flash. Was it Gabe
I believe
Munoz?
it was number 8, Jack, I think.
For Dunlap, I believe it was Gabe Munoz.
Gabe Munoz, yeah, that's right.
Gabe Munoz, the junior, coming in, recovering the fumble and running it all the way back for the Eagles. What a turn of events. The kicker was not prepared either for that.
Now, on the defensive back, Gabe Munoz, he's been a vocal point on defense for the Eagles. And how about the awareness? You know, he's comes to the play after the fact that he didn't make the tackle, but he read that bounce perfectly, able to pick it up and go untouched for a touchdown.
Kick is up, and it is good. Just a one play, not even a play scoring drive. It was a defensive score.
Score now, Dunlap 7.
And that will change the momentum. The Eagles able to get the ball and score on defense.
Coming up to your final opportunity.
Huge confidence
Yeah,
boost.
big momentum shift right there. And, of course, after getting that 4th and inches right there, definitely wouldn't have expected to see a turn of events like that. But, again, it's a game of momentum. Big plays like that can happen all over. And, again, I go back to when Washington played Metamora. They were able to do it on their side, on special teams and on defense. Dunlap maybe taking a page out of their playbook.
Yeah, and we talked about that, Gavin. I mean, we keyed it in on Dunlap with limiting mistakes so far. They haven't made mistakes, but Washington securing that football, especially in a big game like this, just the little things that can come back and cost you. Still early, but, yeah, like we said, that momentum shift, that's huge for Dunlap, able to score on defense.
Big shift of momentum there. Dunlap strikes first. If you're just joining us, a fumble recovery for touchdown. Gabe Munoz, the junior, runs it back into the end zone. Eagles punt it away there. And it'll be brought back on a short kick just shy of the 40-yard line. That's where the Panthers will take over. And, again, you turn the ball over, but it really wasn't a bad play by many of the players on the field, just kind of missed execution. So how do you rebound?
No, I think that's just one thing where all the right things happen for Dunlap there. You make a nice tackle. The ball comes out. It looks like it's going to take a hop out of bounds, but no, it stays right there, and Munoz able to pick it up and run it back. Gavin, if you bounce back, you just got to put that one in the rear view. It's one play. You can't let it affect you, and that's the game of football. You're going to go down in touchdowns, but you got to stay level-headed.
Got to stay level-headed indeed. Dunlap feeling the momentum early. 1st and 10. Panthers take the snap and met quickly at the line. The Dunlap Eagles soar in, drop them for a loss.
Number 2, Keenan McQuarrie, the carry for the Panthers. He stopped.
Gavin, that's one thing that frustrates some teams when they play Dunlap. That line is so strong up front. We could see early on here Washington not able to get up the middle for too much yards and then tries to go to the outside, obviously turn the ball over there. So we haven't seen a pass attack yet, but we don't know if Washington goes to the playbook, starts to air it out as this game goes along if the run's not working.
2nd and now long. Direct snap to Stewart. He's going to pick up some yardage. Here's a big play for Jake Stewart. He's up, down to the 20, to the 10, and into the end zone. What a big response, Jake Stewart. And they're an extra point away from tying the game up.
And so quickly, right after Dunlap's score, how's Washington going to bounce back? Look at the momentum shift right back in Washington's favor. That is huge for your senior quarterback to keep that. Run it right down the field, untouched. That is a big touchdown.
Big touchdown indeed, and they will set up here for the extra point. And it is good.
And the extra point is good. Kicked in by 15.
And Gavin, we've talked about Jake Stewart all season. Has the ability to throw, but how about when he keeps the ball? He is able to run that.
Let's go to our Uftring scoring drive. It was a quick one for the Panthers. 61 yards on 2 plays over a course of just 40 seconds. Pretty quick there, but Jake Stewart picked up a couple nice blocks and a big TD for the Washington Panthers. So now both teams kind of throwing some punches, I guess you could say, early on. 2 big plays for both sides. What do you do now? I mean, if you're Dunlap, you absolutely want to respond.
I think this is just a game that we kind of knew this from the start of the week when we saw this one on the schedule, that both teams are going to go back and forth. If you're Dunlap, just keep playing your game. I think we're in for a treat tonight, though, Gavin. This is 2 teams that really want to come out here and get a big win, and we have seen some exciting football both offensively and defensively to start.
Both ways, not even halfway through the first quarter, 2 huge scores, so you're not going to want a second of this on ClutchSportsAll.com. Here's the return from Dunlap, streaking up the sideline, and he'll get just past the 30-yard line, see where he stepped out, maybe just short. Either way, decent starting field position for the Eagles. They'll take back over on offense. If you're just joining us, their lone scorer coming the defensive variety, Gabe Munoz, a fumble recovery for a touchdown. And just moments ago, Jake Stewart, the keeper, for a 61-yard touchdown. Plenty of big plays from both sides so far. No running backs, 5 receivers. Here's Burke. He's going to drop back to pass. A blitz comes in. Burke escapes the first tackle. He will not escape the second one. He's going to throw it away. And it is incomplete. Just throwing that one away and slipped out of the first couple, John, but nowhere to go.
Yeah, but the right idea for Burke, though, to kind of just get that one out of bounds and not take the sack. But the pressure for Washington's line up front, able to get back there and meet Burke in the backfield, and nothing going there.
Jace Harlan came streaking in, the linebacker, junior. Plenty of great defenders on this Washington team. Put a little more protection around Burke now. Claps his hands as he always does. Drops back. He's going to pass. Looks to pass. More pressure. And he's going to be sacked once again.
And that's credit to Washington's secondary. They're putting so much pressure on those wide receivers for Dunlap that Burke doesn't have anybody open downfield. Kind of just gives him the option to run the ball, but Washington meeting him right there at the line.
You mentioned containing Graham Glover. It doesn't necessarily start with one-on-one matchups or throwing a safety back there. It just matters if, Burke can't get the ball out of his hands at all. So far, Washington has done that really well. So it's going to be 3rd and long here, 3rd and 12. And we're going to get a timeout.
And before we have that third down play,
Timeout to not risk a penalty there for an extra man on field.
Smart play, heads-up play. Let's take a quick look at our sponsors for tonight's game. Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. You can give Jake a call at 309-444-4441 or at JakeWestonInsurance.com or any of our other good neighbors in the Peoria area. Jody Brown in Peoria and Zach Butler in Pekin. You see their numbers and their website on the screen. Make sure to reach out to them. Also sponsored tonight by Kep's Bar, Sports Bar and Grill located in Washington. Make sure to head over to Kep's before or after any big game you may be at, especially if you're over here in Washington. We appreciate all of our great sponsors supporting high school athletics and Clutch Sports Media. Coming out after the timeout, Dunlap offensively has not done a whole lot. Go to the air again maybe here on third down, John?
Yeah, I like the idea. I think Dunlap, if they can get the pass game working, that's where they've had some of their big highlight reel plays this year, but that's a hard thing to ask against a Washington defense.
Takes the pass. He's going to drop back. He's going to air it out. Long, deep downfield, and just can't get it down to his man, but a late flag comes in.
That's a tough one, and it's hard to be mad at yourself there because it looked like they were both running full speed where he kind of lost his footing and tripped over Graham Glover. But I think that one's going to go against Washington.
Pass interference, and the home crowd not favorable with that one. It looked like maybe you could have a case for it, but maybe a little bit to the favor there of Washington, or rather Dunlap.
Yeah, and it's not like he had his hands on Glover, more so just running full speed, tripped, and one of those things where the inevitable happens, you can't stop your speed, and fell into Graham Glover. Tough break there for Washington, but it definitely helps Dunlap out.
They'll walk the ball up now.
After the penalty,
pass interference is the call. That's a tough break. Washington doing everything right, putting pressure on. Again, just an unfortunate penalty right there. It's something that we'll probably talk about a lot throughout this game. We've seen both these teams at times throughout this year have problems with the penalties.
Yeah, and it's just those little things, your false starts, your holding calls, your pass interference, things that are preventable but happen a lot in the game of football.
Here's Orr, and he is stopped quickly. Carter Prina, the 6'3 sophomore, wraps him up after about maybe a yard, perhaps half yard.
Second and 9, Dunlap.
Yeah, Washington just doing a good job of reading those plays right off the bat, able to get that line set up front and meet them right at the line. Been impressed with Washington's defense so far.
Carter Prina, saw him make several big plays in their win over Metamora. Saw that one on ClutchSportsIsle.com. Coming up big early on here. It's going to be 2nd and 9. Burke is going to hand it back off to Orr. He finds some room to run up the sideline. He's going to be up for more than a first down before he gets forced out of bounds. That's probably been the best play from scrimmage tonight that we've seen from the Dunlap Eagles.
Yeah, how about the stiff arm from Orr, and able to almost shake that next tackle before he goes out of bounds. Could almost got that one down the sideline. He's got so much speed that Washington's going to watch him on the outside.
But we're going to have a penalty, and we just talked about that. It's going to be negated, a holding call. That's going to step the Eagles backwards. And, again, you've seen them several times. You can probably relate a little bit more, having called a few more of their games, John. But penalties have been a real issue at times.
And it's tough when, like we said, Gavin, penalties are just something that you can't prevent. It's in the game, but it's those big plays. When you get a drive, you get a lot of momentum, and then you get a penalty. We saw Dunlap against Pekin on the goal line. They get penalties. They move all the way back. You just can't put yourself in that position when you're driving down the field.
Penalty won't set him back too far, but it negates the first down. It's going to be 2nd and 3 now. He's going to drop back. He's going to pass out of the pocket and off the receiver's hands. Gabe Munoz can't haul it in. Looked like a pretty good pass, maybe a little off to the side, but probably best-looking pass we've seen so far from Badenberg.
No, he did lay that on the hands there, and just a tough break there for Munoz. But if Madden Burke can get dialed in there with passing, he's very accurate. One of the more accurate passers in the area when he's hitting his targets.
Had him in the hands, couldn't haul it in, so now it brings up 3rd and 3. Big chance for Washington to make a hold. Right at midfield. Burke takes the snap. He's going to hand it back off to Orr. Orr explodes to the outside, and he'll be forced out of bounds. First down for the Eagles.
Braden Orr, the carry for the Eagles.
And Dunlap loves going to that play outside with Orr, able to just steam head downfield there. Lowers that shoulder.
Up to the 41-yard line, first down, Dunlap.
He's number 5. You might think he's a little bit more of a speedy back receiver, but he is definitely plenty big and strong. The senior, I guess you call him running back, maybe fullback combo. He can run you over, but he can also explode quickly from the box. Takes the snap. Burke's going to keep it himself. Finds a little bit of room to run, and he'll get a gain of about 5 or 6 on the play. Staying on the ground a little bit more than maybe we'd expect him to.
They are. And one thing that's so similar between these two teams, almost like looking in a mirror, is that quarterback Jake Stewart for Washington and Maiden Burke for Dunlap, there's so much speed in those guys. We saw that huge run by Stewart for the Washington's touchdown, and then Burke, just creating his own runs out here. Can't find a wide receiver. He opens his own window.
Second and 4. Dropping way back is Burke. Throws. There's a penalty flag. Caught, though. It will be a catch.
And
this one might be coming back, though.
That's tough if that's another.
Brought in by Munoz. There is a penalty marker on the play.
Yeah, that might be coming back on Dunlap.
And it's going to be a hold indeed.
And it's almost like they just haven't been able to shake it this season on those big home run plays downfield, and a penalty takes it right back.
Second penalty on this drive. Perhaps add another key to the game. No laundry. They're leaving a little bit too much out there right now. So another break there for the Panthers. Munoz did haul that one in, but again, negated due to the penalty. So it's going to bring up a second and much longer.
After the penalty,
tough break there for Dunlap. Chance to go back out there and do it again.
Replay second down, 2nd and 14.
2nd and 14. Replay second down. Madden Burke out of the shotgun again. He's going to step up to pass. Pressure coming in. Escapes a couple men.
He's got
throws it over the middle and can't hit his man.
And Gavin, he had him wide open, just off the mark a little bit, but that's credit to Washington's defense. They kept him off balance on that throw. They're running at him full speed.
It's going to be an illegal block.
Personal foul.
That's going to back them up even farther. We're looking at maybe country mile territory now, John. We love that phrase here at Clutch Sports. Cody Roskins.
Speaking of country, out in Farmington tonight.
Indeed, if you're looking for some other coverage, a big small school matchup out in Farmington. Taking on Elmwood Brimfield. Going tune in on 101.1 ESPN Peoria. Jonathan Michael and Cody Roskins on the call. Go check that one out as well. Here in Washington, though, it's going to be 2nd and 27. That's the third penalty of the drive. Dunlap trying to just get some yards back on this play. Dropping way back again. And can't hit Orr on the bit of a screen pass there. Burke shaking his head a little bit. He's had a couple of guys open, just hasn't quite been able to get that there, but probably a big credit to the Washington defensive line.
Yeah, it is. And Dunlap's put together a string of some really good plays. Penalties have just hurt them, brought them back into positions where now 3rd and 27. And you got to like this if you're Washington's defense, chance to make a stop, get the ball back. And it's forcing Dunlap to throw a lot more as well in these long down situations.
Remains 27 yards to go. 3rd down. Need a big play right here. They'll hand it off, though, to Orr, and he'll get a nowhere. Thought he might have had a couple of yards, but nowhere to go. It'll be 4th down. Bring the punt unit on, and again, the penalties hurt Dunlap significantly on that drive.
They did right after being down almost the 5-yard line on a great pass from Burke. Results in having to punt back to Washington. Those penalties can come back to hurt you, especially in a game that we could see go back and forth throughout. Just got to try to clean those up.
They will try to on their next possession. Here's the punt from Dunlap. It's a decent punt right there. It's going to be fair caught right at the 25-yard line by Kanan McQuarrie. He's had some big performances in recent weeks. Definitely been one of the biggest players in the Mid-Atlantic Conference, let alone the area. 427 yards, 6 touchdowns in their last 2 games. It's easy to say McQuarrie has been nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot of great running backs that we know in the Mid-Atlantic. Tanner Sprecher, Kanye Tyler from Pekin, Dunlap's Braden Orr that we're watching tonight. But McQuarrie's made a name for himself out here with Washington, and he continues to shine.
Even if you want to say Washington perhaps took a step back after losing so many seniors from last year, they have a number of sophomores and juniors that are already getting so much better. They will be back for years to come. Flag flies. They're going to get out to A.J. Jones. Picks up a couple blockers. It would be enough for around a 1st down, but I believe we might have an illegal motion. It will be an illegal motion, and it's going to send the Panthers backwards. Penalties, both sides hurting them.
And you can see how it's affected both Washington and Dunlap early on, these penalties.
They will march backwards.
It'll be a 5-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
2 minutes left to go here in the 1st quarter. Plenty of big action so far, but a little sloppy here in the last couple of drives. Both teams looking to settle in here. Make it 1st and 15 for the Panthers. They'll redo 1st down.
Running that play outside again to McQuarrie.
McQuarrie comes out. He's going to pick up a few more yards, not brought down, and he will get all of that penalty yardage back and then some. Move the sticks for a Washington 1st down.
Pushed out of bounds by 16.
And he wasn't coming down. That was an angry run. He's making sure no one was putting him on the field. He's able to stay on his feet and gain some extra yards. What a run.
Big run there for McQuarrie. We've talked a lot about him. He is a focal point for this Washington Panther offense. Clock not starting up for some reason.
There it goes.
Stewart's going to keep it himself again, and he'll have 1st down yardage.
14, Jake Stewart.
Very close to it.
2 deep. And 57 more.
How about Stewart? He's so shifty, able to explode through those gaps that his offensive line leaves for him. Another good run there from Stewart, following that big touchdown run he had on their last drive there.
Stewart definitely getting it done on the ground. There was a lot of talk early in the season, hard to believe, 6 weeks ago now, about the quarterback situation for the Panthers, and Darryl Crouch said it's very much open. Stewart, though, very seeming like he's won the job. He'll draw it back. He's going to pass now. He's going to air it out. Has a receiver. Jones didn't see it. Wanted a flag, though.
Pass attempt by the Panthers.
Might have overthrew him a little bit, but Jones was mainly looking for a penalty there more than the ball.
And it almost slowed him down, maybe looking for that penalty, because 2 or 3 more steps, that ball is right in his hands. For a touchdown.
We've seen Jones be an incredible player, just a freshman for this Panthers squad. A little more time and experience. He'll continue to play through it, regardless if there may have been a little contact or not. Nothing comes of it, though. 2nd down. 1:08 left to play in the 1st. Stewart takes it again. He'll pitch it over to McQuarrie. McQuarrie finds a couple of holes. He's got some more room to run. Will he be brought down? Trucks a man over, And he'll finally be brought down. Did the ball come out at the end? That's the question.
I think they did they pick it back up, or?
It looked like it may have come out at the end, but no signal that Dunlap would have the ball. It'll be a big first down, and how about that truck from Cannon McQuarrie?
We've seen some running backs this year in the middle line that have run through some defenders, but that one almost kind of popped him up off his feet. He was saying, I'm coming right through you there. And what a run by McQuarrie, just getting through some tackles. Washington in great field position.
What a play there from McQuarrie. 1st and 10 from the 13. Tries to go up the gut again, but not really going to get anywhere on that play.
McQuarrie carries again for the Panthers.
Man, going back to that last play, though, so good at using his blockers. It looked like a very mature run, a very experienced run. McQuarrie will trot off the field.
And 10, Washington.
Followed his blockers well. That was another point of concern this year for Washington. A lot of new faces on the offensive line. They're seeming to settle in nicely. And we'll have a stoppage.
That'll be the end.
It'll be the
end of the quarter.
End of the first quarter. Let's take a quick break to hear from our.
At this time, we'd like to direct
Let's
your
hear from
attention to
Updrain.
the track area on both sides of the field where the
Score the upgrade you've always wanted during the Total Sales Blitz at every Updrain Auto Group dealer. New inventory is in stock at Inbound, and we're taking custom orders every day. Plus, over 500 pre-owned, including fresh trades from our huge sale. UpdrainAutoGroup.com.
Also sponsored tonight by Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. You can give Jake a call at 309-444-4441 or JakeWestonInsurance.com. All of our other great neighbors in the Peoria area, you can give Jody Brown in Peoria or Zach Butler in Pekin a call or visit their website. Make sure to check out State Farm for all your insurance needs. Also sponsored tonight by Kep's Sports Bar and Grill in Washington. Great place to grab a bite to eat or drink before or after any big game. Make sure to check out Kep's in Washington. Big thanks to all of our sponsors for tonight's game. Updrain, State Farm, and Kep's, supporting Clutch Sports Media and local high school athletics. Second quarter, John, it was an action-packed first quarter. I mean, kind of sum it up, somebody just joining us, give him a little bit of a rundown.
Yeah, we saw a great defensive effort there from Dunlap, able to recover a fumble, run it in for a touchdown, and Washington's Jake Stewart able to tie the game with a nice QB keeper.
Starting the second quarter, Washington carry by 25, Jacob Walker.
Into the second quarter, off and running. 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5, Washington.
Feels like a big play right here, and you always think about the old defensive phrase, bend, don't break. That's what you got to be thinking if you're Dunlap.
Yeah, if you're Dunlap, this is where you got to make a big stop. Washington wanting to get in that end zone.
Keeps it himself. Stewart throws it back out to the flat. McQuarrie makes a couple men miss, but not going to have enough for first down yardage. Big decision now. You go for it. You're close into the red zone. Perhaps go for a field goal. It's a big test right here, big choice.
If I'm Washington, maybe play it safe with the field goal, which it looks like they're going to do. Early on in a game like this, Gavin, only 1 minute into the second quarter, you don't want to, put yourself in that position where you can put some points on the board and then, give the ball back to Dunlap. So the right idea here, just got to put it through the uprights, take that lead.
They will look to do so. Here is the kick. It is up, and it is good. 3 more for the Panthers, and they do make something of that drive. McQuarrie with some big plays there to spark the Panther offense, but come up short in the red zone.
Yeah, Washington put together a great drive, able to get down there. Dunlap's defense, like you said, they didn't break on that one, able to make a stop, force Washington to kick the field goal. That's a big, red zone stand there for the Eagles. Now they get a chance to get the ball back, and we'll see on this drive for Dunlap, Gavin, If they can turn it around with those penalties, they've hurt both teams so far in some situations.
They certainly have. Let's go to our Uftring scoring drive, not for a touchdown, but for 3 points on the field goal. Panthers march down over 3 minutes and 40 seconds, 7 plays, and 60 yards as they fall just short in the red zone, but they do pick up 3 points and take the lead. 10:35 on the clock. Panthers will get ready to boot it away. One thing I'm seeing here from the booth is the Washington Panthers sideline and the use of a TV down there. We'll get to that more in just a second. Here's the kickoff. It's going to be fielded around the 8-yard line. Picked up there. Not anywhere to go, and he'll be stopped up. It's going to make Dunlap in tough field position. 28, Graham Glover. Big part to that Dunlap offense on the return, but not anywhere to go. But back down, looking at the Washington sideline, see a TV down there. And looks like the players are huddled around it. What can you tell us more about that, John?
Which I really like what they're doing with that, Gavin, and they're only one of 2 teams in the area that do this. You know, a lot of colleges and pro teams obviously have this. We don't really see it in high school, but the ability to show your players on the sidelines of any play that just happened, they can go back and see any mistakes that were made or any, you know, places they had to be on the field, and it's a chance to rewatch kind of each play as it unfolded.
Here's a big play, though, right here. Dunlap making something happen. Glover makes a couple men miss, finally tackled around midfield, and got a quick shot of that TV, but how about Graham Glover coming up with a big play for the Eagles? Makes a couple men miss, and he is an incredible playmaker.
Yeah, that's one thing Graham Glover can do is just break out big run after big run. He gets downfield, able to set the Eagles up in great field position.
First down, Dunlap.
First down for Dunlap, right at midfield. Right at the 50-yard line. 2 receivers out to the far side. Hands it off here. It's going to be Orr trying to go to the outside. A solid tackle right there, but he'll pick up a few nice yards.
Braden Orr the carry for the Eagles.
Orr able to
Tackle made by one,
pick up a
Seth
couple.
Carvall.
Washington's defense still
Gain of
tracking
4
Orr
on
down,
the play.
able to
Second
read those
gain
runs
of
outside,
6.
put a hit on him.
Pick up about 4 right there. Fundamentals are key for both of these teams. Nice solid fundamental tackling from both sides. Burke claps his hands, takes it again. He'll hand it back off to Orr. Coming up the near side, Carter Perina in on the stop, and he is a huge part to that Washington defensive line.
How about the tackle there? Just wraps him up, able to take him down. And he's been such a great defender this year for Washington. Just a leader on that defensive side.
Leader indeed. Shuts Braden Orr down. Braden Orr is not an easy man to pull down. Perina, though, definitely one of the most promising young players defensively in the Mid-Illini Conference, proving it week in and week out this season. Here's Burke, drops way back, rolls out. Now he's just going to keep it himself and run, but he is swallowed up right there. Jace Harlan in on the stop, and it's going to be a 4th down. Dunlap going to bring on the punt unit.
It's another player to throw into that category about being a leader. Making a great tackle right there is Harlan. Him and Perina just been so solid. Couple tackles each tonight.
Again, a lot of, you could say, youth on this, Washington defense. A lot of juniors, a couple of sophomores rotating in and out. So plenty that'll be back next year for Washington. And nearly blocked right there. May have gotten a piece of it. It's going to be recovered, though, here by Washington. They will return the punt. And it was a good decision to do so. Picked up some extra yardage, and it'll give Washington considerable considerably better field position.
Read that one right off the bounce, able to pick it up, get some nice yardage.
Brings it out to the
Love the idea.
31-yard line. First down,
Now Washington a chance to get downfield and extend their lead, eat up some clock here in the second quarter. This is where Dunlap's defense is going to want to come up big again.
Jake Stewart will lead the offense out back to the field. The Dunlap defensive line can be equally as huge. They have some real wreckers on the line. Pierce Morrison, Sam Morgan have been terrific this season. Taking the snap, pitching it back out. McQueary tries to make a man miss, but tripped up nicely right there. Nick Moeller will come in on the stop, and about nowhere to go. Looks like no gain on the play.
Stop for no gain on the play.
I love the idea by McQueary. Almost tried to do a little stutter step and juke him there, but he was met. But Washington's been very consistent on the ground, continue to run that ball and move the chains.
See if the Dunlap defensive line can continue to tighten up. And they have shown all season they are a big force in the trenches. Takes the snap. And it looks like Stewart's going to keep it, but nowhere to go. The keeper is shut down, and it'll be a loss of about 2. Here comes the Eagles on the defensive line.
3rd and 11, Washington.
This is where they can make another big stop. You know, and that's what's put them in this position to be one win from being playoff eligible. Is Dunlap's defense. Offense has been equally as good, but the defense has been consistent night in and night out.
Dunlap plenty battle tested too. They had some really tough early season matchups, but they're hitting their stride now. 3-1 in their last 4. Man in motion, McQueary. Stewart dropping back to pass. Pressure coming in. He'll throw it away. No one home. Big pressure right there. Looks like Dazan McCaston coming in for the pressure for Dunlap, and it'll be a 3-and-out for the Panthers
4th and 11,
as they will punt away.
Yeah, just like that, right back to the Eagles. Starts with that defense. It's going to win you games. And Washington knows that as well. Their defense has been locked in.
And we're going to get a timeout charged to Dunlap.
4th down play, we have a timeout, Dunlap.
Take a look around the Mid-Illini Conference and a big game not being played tonight. Of course, you may have seen that the East Peoria Morton game was canceled due to a lack of players, some injuries and things. Tough break for East Peoria, but Morton not really getting a tune-up. They have a couple big games down the stretch.
Yeah, forfeit win, and you know, East Peoria in that game, like you said, Gavin, battled some injuries, had a couple players under the weather, and it's, you know, tough late in the season when you want to get all your games in. It just wasn't able to happen.
See the Mid-Illini standings on your screen. Does reflect the East Peoria forfeit. Pekin, though, atop the Mid-Illini Conference, ranked in Class 7A. Fumbled the punt right there. He'll still get it off. It's going to take a home bounce and a nice roll just about to the 29-yard line, but again, going back to the Mid-Illini Conference, definitely top-heavy again this season. We've seen some elite talent, some great teams again, and definitely some teams with big playoff aspirations on their mind.
You look at the very top half of that Mid-Illini Conference, and you look at teams like Pekin. Obviously, you know, a chance to go unbeaten here, win their next 3 games, get into the playoffs, make a deep run. Washington, Dunlap, Morton, these are all teams that can get in the playoffs and make some noise. They've shown throughout the year that they're battle-tested and can pull out those close games.
Certainly can. Dunlap takes back over the 29-yard line. Lots of field to go here. Handed off to Orr, and he's tripped up quickly. Not establishing a lot between the tackles. They've had most of their success going to the outside. It's a game of adjustments, and certainly something that they'll probably continue to look at over halftime.
Yeah, we're going to see that. I mean, I should say we saw early on, you know, Dunlap stay into the ground game. Then they start passing. We see Washington mixing it up a little bit too. So, like you said, Gavin, I think we're going to see back and forth, and we could see some new things come into play second half.
Gain of about 1 on the play. Here's Burke, going to drop way back. He's going to step up, maybe look to pass. There's a Panther right there, though. Who else? Carter Perina. Don't have official stats, John. Got to imagine he's got at least 1 or 2 sacks to show for. A couple tackles for loss. The sophomore has been incredible tonight.
He has. He's able to get back there and wrap up Burke. Burke's so quick on his feet, but he's been able to trip him up. And, Gavin, with Maiden Burke, he's a player that likes to throw on the run. He can get out and scramble, but it's more so of him running back there is that Washington's line just getting in there so quick, putting that pressure on him. He's more so running back there to try to evade a sack.
Burke definitely has plenty of cannon of an arm to throw. Drops way back. He's going to take another snap. They're going to hand it off to Orr. Trying to salvage some yardage, but nothing going on. And the theme of the last few minutes, I would definitely say simply defense.
Yeah, it's been a defensive-heavy game, and both teams knew this coming in, and we talked about this before the game started. Washington 2 wins away from playoff eligibility. Dunlap needs another win to get in. They knew this game was going to be a test. They knew it was going to come out and be a fight out here, and both teams coming out here slugging in a defensive battle.
Defense has reigned supreme as of late. Nearly blocked again. The Washington special teams getting in there and creating some pressure. They're going to let this one bounce, and they will pick it up just past the 30-yard line. So decent field position as Washington, perhaps maybe the last drive of the quarter, depending on how much they can move the ball. 3:26 left to play. Definitely think putting points on the board would be a huge momentum swing.
Yeah, it would. And if they can get in that end zone, Gavin, they'd be up 17-7 with an extra point. They want to go down there, and Dunlap's one of those teams you don't want to be only up 3 points late in a game. They want to try to extend this lead. They know that. And Dunlap, they want to try to get that ball back and take the lead.
We've seen Dunlap put plenty of points up in a hurry. Did so against East Peoria. Done so against Canton. Here's Washington offense, though, trying to put some points up, and they're going to meet McQuarrie very quickly. McQuarrie had some nice runs early on in the game, but Dunlap defensive line starting to find his number quite a bit more.
Yeah, they are. Just able to meet him there. He's so quick, but they're reading those routes, able to pick him up in front. And that's something we've seen from Dunlap. Seen Dunlap a handful of times this year. Their defense hasn't missed a beat. They're in sync. Really good chance earlier in the season, too, against Pekin, where they were only down 3 late.
Second and 10. Didn't go anywhere on first down. Harlan's in motion. He's going to take it back. He's going to throw. He's going to hit his big body receiver right there. That's going to be 97 in on the catch. Check who that is. Garrett Cox. Missed his name right there. Cox, a nice catch, and it'll get him near that first down. Smart play right there. Nice play call.
Yeah, it was. It sets up a nice spot here, 3rd and 1. You think he could keep it on the ground with McQuarrie or try to get a keeper there with Stewart?
Certainly a possibility. They also have Jace Harlan there, fullback, though he's typically a blocker. Never know, could hand it off to him as well. Here's the keeper, like you called it, and he'll get dragged forward, and that's going to be enough for a Washington first down. Under 2 minutes.
Gets up to the 43-yard line.
Clock keeps rolling. Washington 2 timeouts.
First down, Washington.
Yeah, Stewart capable of getting those big runs behind his blockers. That big breakout touchdown earlier in the game. And he's just been picking up some nice chunk yardage here for the Panthers.
Clock continuing to roll. Lots of yardage to go. Under a minute and a half now. Taking the snap. Stewart going to look to pass. He's going to air it out down in the near side, but that one's going to be way over the head of his intended receiver, Tyler Brown. Didn't really have much of a chance there.
Probably a good thing that one did sail out of bounds there, Gavin. It was overthrown over his receiver's head. Munoz kind of camped out under that one had it stayed in bounds.
Seth Carbaugh is going to come back in for 2nd down and 10. 1 minute and 14 seconds left to go. Feel like if Washington wants to put themselves in a position to score, field goal or touchdown variety, they need to make a big play here soon.
Yeah, they do. Only 1 minute, 14 seconds left.
He's going to not hand it off, keep it himself, throws it downfield. Does he have Carbaugh? He does! Carbaugh comes into the game and makes a big play. Jake Stewart hooks up with Seth Carbaugh. Clock will start back up here momentarily once the ball gets set down, just nearing under a minute. That's the big play they needed.
Gavin, in that 49-28 loss to Pekin a few weeks back, Washington, when they started their rally to cut into that lead, it was Jake Stewart who connected with Seth Carbaugh twice for some nice touchdowns, one similar to that catch right there, left it right in his hands. And Jake Stewart likes to go to Carbaugh. We haven't seen it much in this game at all, and he decides to go there now late in the second quarter, and that was a really nice find from the senior quarterback.
Coaching staff threw Carbaugh out there right before the snap was about to happen. Paid off in a big way. It's going to put them 25 yards to go, so just outside of that red zone area, I guess you could say.
But
go ahead.
I said I like the idea, though, because Dunlap's D hasn't keyed in on Carbaugh in these first 2 quarters. They throw him in there late in the second quarter, and look at that, just a playmaker there from Stewart, able to hit him on the run. A really nice spot here to score a touchdown if they can keep driving.
They do have 1 timeout left and 1 minute and 6 seconds to try and do it. Washington trots back out there, and again, you got to go back to that bend don't break for Dunlap. Something that here the old Lovie Smith defense, former Bears coach, now Houston Texans coach. See if Dunlap can employ that. They're going to throw it back out, and he is going nowhere. Little pitch with some blockers blown up by Pierce Morrison. He's a big part of that defensive line. Washington needs to move quickly.
Yeah, you almost want to run out of that hurry-up offense. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where the clock, gets close to 10 seconds or 5 seconds and you're kind of out of field goal range. You want to try to keep moving the ball.
38 seconds left to go. Fakes the handoff. Throws it deep downfield. Does he have a man?
Almost.
No, he did not. Looked like it hit the ground, waited for the official to call it. So close there. Brayson Barth couldn't haul it in. It's a tough play, though. Nice defense from Dunlap once again. Put some pressure on. Nice coverage in the secondary. 3rd and long and 29 seconds to go. I would have to assume you take another deep shot.
And then if you don't get it here, Gavin, you almost go for it on 4th down. You have to, out of field goal range at this point.
Touchdown or bust, it seems like, for the Panthers. Jones in motion. Stewart snapping back. They're going to have a little screen pass here. McQuarrie picks up a couple blockers up the far side. He'll be pushed out of bounds. 20 seconds to go now. Maybe the field goal does come into mind.
It does, but if you're Washington, maybe try to come out and score one more. That would be a huge momentum shift there. Washington could score, add to the lead before halftime.
Dunlap's done a lot right defensively, but Washington just continues to make big plays at the right time. Nice execution from the Panthers. Bend don't break, though. Theme for the Dunlap defense. They have more than enough to be able to hold. Here's the handoff. McQuarrie trying to get up the middle. He's going nowhere. They'll have to use that final timeout. 12 and a half seconds left to go.
Now you think field goal? I mean, you almost have to.
You could think field goal, maybe perhaps take a throw to the end zone, maybe try to get a man one-on-one.
Yeah, the only thing is, if they put pressure on Stewart, they bring him down, it gives you almost no time to get up and kind of spike that ball at the line. So it's not out of question. We'll see what Coach Crouch draws up.
Daryl Crouch, one of the longest running coaches in the Middle Illini Conference. I know you've covered sports in Peoria area for a while, John, with Peoria Journal-Star for a while. I mean, you've seen plenty of teams led by Coach Crouch. Definitely has great veteran leadership.
He's one of the best coaches in the area, there's no question. Been around the game, studies the game. And you see this, Gavin, even when he's had some teams that have made, state playoff runs, getting close to a championship, semifinal, quarterfinal, you lose guys with graduation. And he continues to bring new guys in, rebuild these teams, and just channels that Washington Panther, vibe to these teams. They always play hard-nosed football, and that's the same style this year.
Always is. What will they do with 12.5 to go? Jones running around. They're going to pitch it back to him. Throws it back to Stewart. Stewart trying to make a man miss and into the end zone.
What a play.
A.J. Jones, the touchdown pass. Put that one on your bingo card tonight. A.J. Jones throwing a touchdown. Washington in 4-6 in a big momentum shift to end out the half.
I was waiting to see in a game like this, in a low-scoring game up until this point, Washington extends the lead. If either of these two teams had a trick up their sleeve and Washington pulls it out here late in the second quarter, what a throw there from Jones to a wide-open Stewart.
Kick is up, and it is good.
Gavin, if I would have told you A.J. Jones was going to have a passing touchdown tonight, would you think he would be in that position to do that?
That's something I probably wouldn't have expected, but we've come to expect the unexpected on ClutchSportsIL.com. Let's take a look at our Uftring scoring drive. 9 plays, 69 yards, 3 minutes and 21 seconds, just in the nick of time. With just 5 seconds remain on the clock, A.J. Jones, the freshman, with a passing touchdown to Jake Stewart. Probably didn't expect to hear that tonight. Big momentum shift for the Washington Panthers. Dunlap will get a chance to maybe run one back and create a little magic of their own. The band is ready to enter the field. Not quite yet. 5 seconds remain. Ready to kick it off. And they will do so. Fielded around the 15. Going to try and bring it back. And going nowhere. And time will expire on the first half. 17-7 is where we will finish out the first 2 quarters of play. Back and forth, plenty of defense. There's a few penalties. Overall, really exciting football, John. Excited for the second half.
I think we knew this coming in, that this was going to be a fun game with Washington and Dunlap. And Washington able to strike last here in the second quarter with that trickery. A.J. Jones to Jake Stewart. We saw Stewart have another touchdown earlier in the game when he busted out that big run, and then Dunlap able to get on the board with a defensive play, which was a fumble, able to run that in. We've seen just about everything tonight.
We sure have. There's plenty to go back and rewatch. If you weren't able to see the entire first half on ClutchSportsIL.com, go back and rewatch that and then join us for the second half. Let's take a look at our great sponsors for this week, starting with Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. You can give Jake a call at 309-444-4441 or at JakeWestonInsurance.com, or any of our other good neighbors in the Peoria area. Jody Brown in Peoria, Zach Butler in Pekin. You see their phone numbers on the screen and websites. Make sure to give them a call or visit their website for all your insurance needs. Also, Kep's Sports Bar and Grill. Visit Kep's before or after any big game if you're in Washington or anywhere around the area. Great food, great drink. Make sure and visit Kep's. And we'll also get a look at our Uftring.
Score the upgrade you've always wanted during the total sales blitz at every Uftring Auto Group dealer. New inventory is in stock at inbound, and we're taking custom orders every day. Plus, over 500 pre-owned, including fresh trades from our huge sale. UftringAutoGroup.com.
Thanks to Uftring, State Farm, and Kep's Sports Bar and Grill for supporting Clutch Sports Media and local high school athletics. That's going to take us to halftime. Good one so far in Washington, 17-7. The Panthers lead. Don't miss a second of the action. Come back soon for the second half here on ClutchSportsIL.com.
Membership
Welcome back to
is
Washington. The
Allison
Panthers leading
Sutter.
17-7.
So again, Lee
Got about a minute and a half
Jamie
before the second half
McClintock,
gets underway.
Megan
Teams huddled up
Thornton,
right now.
and Allison Sutter.
John
You are
Camosa
the
tracking down a few
winners
scores
of
around the area. What do you got for us, John?
Well, trying to find some Middle Illini scores, and this one's going to jump out at a lot of folks. At halftime, Pekin leads Canton 56-12. Now, you would think Pekin, a game that they were probably the favorite to win, but it's the fact that Kanye Tyler, 7 touchdowns in the first half.
7 touchdowns.
7 touchdowns. Scored 3 in the first quarter, I believe. Capped off by 4 more in the second. And then Metamora leads Limestone 42-0 at halftime, another Middle Illini Conference game. And how about Manual, a 30-14 lead over Richwoods in the Big 12. And jumping ahead, Normal West leads Quincy Notre Dame 7-0 in the first quarter. Just a couple of scores around the area. And we said earlier, Morton with that forfeit win over East Peoria due to lack of players that were healthy for East Peoria, so a forfeit win there for Morton gets them their 4th win of the year.
Some scores around the area. If anybody else has scores for us, make sure to check them out on social media. Let us know. We will do our best to relay those over the air. About ready to go in the second half, though. It's time for second half football. Panthers and Eagles. Eagles kick it away. Panthers get the ball first, and they will field it. Running it back here is McQueary, and he'll return it this time just past the 35-yard line. Good starting field position for the Panthers. And again, if you just joined us for the second half, big play to end out the first half. A.J. Jones, a touchdown pass to Jake Stewart.
That's the right idea for Washington, and it really caught Dunlap off guard, maybe thinking pass run. I don't think they were thinking trick play, or it was just a little end around to A.J. Jones, and then Stewart runs down the right side of the field. There he is, wide open, as Jones was able to throw it back over to him like a game of catch for the touchdown.
Up the middle, getting a few yards right there. McQueary has had a few big runs in this game. Ran a man over.
There's a late flag.
Looks like Washington celebrating a little bit, so maybe a little unsportsmanlike conduct, and it is. It's going to be on Dunlap, and more penalties, unforced errors.
And Gavin, sometimes with holding calls, you just get in the heat of the moment and you might grab a jersey or, kind of get lost in the play or a false start. You just don't know the snap count. Ones like that you can control. You don't want to put yourself in a position where Washington can extend this lead even more. Right now they're in great field position with all the momentum on their side in this third quarter.
Already marching up the field quickly, aided by the penalty. Referee calling it out again there. Unsportsmanlike conduct against the Eagles. They're got to get the spot on the ball right. That's definitely important, especially in a close game. Want to make sure the ball's in the right place.
45, first down, Washington.
I'm sure Washington would have liked the extra 5 yards.
I'm sure they would, but Dunlap would not, so they're going to get that corrected.
Still really nice field position just past midfield.
Here's Stewart. He's going to hand it off to McQueary, and boy, he just continues to lunge forward for yards. But nice wrap-up tackling there from the Eagles.
Tackle by 20, Dezon McCaston.
Dezon McCaston on the stop.
41, 2nd and 6, Washington.
And that's one thing that Keenan McQueary knows is he's going to get blocks. His line sets up those holes for him. He's able to run through them. It's a full team effort. And when you have that much speed in your backfield, all you got to do is give him that little window. He's able to burst right through it.
Panthers line up. Play clock winding down. Stewart's going to get it off in time. McQueary takes the ball and just finds just a little bit of a hole. Not much room to work with. Just kind of stutter stepped into a few yards right there, and it'll be enough for a first down.
Still moving those chains. Washington's in a really effective ground game working tonight.
Definitely not the Washington team we saw the first 2 weeks. Of course, they played some incredible programs right out of the gate. Never easy to do, but they have rebounded in a massive way. Hands it off again to McQueary. He's got some space to run up the far side, and there goes McQueary. Down to the 10 and into the end zone. 6 for Cannon McQueary.
Touchdown, Washington.
Continues that impressive resume this season. Another touchdown for McQueary. Washington just extends this lead, opens it right out the gate.
Big play right there. Quick score there for the Panthers, aided by an unsportsmanlike penalty call. Gave him an extra 15 yards. They had another touchdown to the board. Extra point is up, and it is good for the Panthers. Definitely another big momentum shift right there. The Panthers have a lot going right for them right now.
They do. Tacks another one on the board. 24-7 now. Dunlap. Gavin, how do you kind of dig yourself out of this hole? Obviously, getting the ball downfield, trying to get in that end zone, cut into this deficit, but penalties have hurt him, and we've seen some of those big plays they had in the first half. Score could be a little bit different right now, but they're going to have to try to climb out of this 24-7 deficit. Washington's defense, though, has been locked in.
Dunlap is no stranger to making some big things happen late. Let's take a look at our Upstring scoring drive right now. 64 yards, 5 plays in a minute and 53. Again, got an extra 15 yards off of the unsportsmanlike penalty call, an unforced error from Dunlap. 24-7 is our score. That scoring drive sponsored by Upstring. Kicking it away are the Panthers, so they do good on their first offensive drive of the second half. Dunlap a chance to respond. A brisk evening at Babcock Field. Beautiful night, though. Kicking it away are the Panthers, and here we go. It's going to be fielded right at the 20-yard line. Some room to run, makes a couple men miss, finds a couple of holes, coming to the near side, and he will be forced out of bounds, lunges into a tackle, and we have a late flag here. Perhaps a face mask or a personal foul of some sort.
It came out pretty quick, right as the hit was happening, a flag went up, so be interested to see. They're going to talk about it.
Gabe Munoz with a nice return right there. Got them right to midfield. Will they get a few extra yards on the penalty? Personal foul. It's going to be a face mask, and it'll give the Dunlap Eagles 15 more on top of the great return. So this could be the momentum shift that Dunlap needs.
If more so than ever right here, Gavin, got to eliminate those penalties and make sure you're locked in on this drive. You're in really good field position here, a chance to potentially put the ball in the end zone.
Certainly need to look for 6 plus the extra point on this drive. Burke going to clap his hands as he always does. Takes the snap. They're going to give it to Orr to start things out. He's up the middle. A nice run.
Full head of steam there for Orr. Powers his way right downfield.
A welcome sight for the Eagles. No penalty flags there. Nice, solid, clean play from all involved. First down run for the Eagles.
Yeah, great chance for Dunlap here.
Or going back up the middle again. He was tripped up. And he'll get about maybe 4 or 5.
Number 5, Eli Bear with the stop.
Eli Bear coming in on the stop.
2nd and 6.
Something I like to reference or make point to often is even just getting a few yards on each play, you continually move the ball forward. Just want to keep going forwards, not backwards.
Yeah, if you can just, put the ball on the ground there, get that ground game, continue to roll like they have, just don't make those mistakes. You're in good position. There's a flag that might be on Washington.
May be on Washington indeed, or didn't go anywhere on that play. Shut down quickly.
There is a penalty marker on the play as well.
Ref's doing some pointing towards the Washington side of things.
One more point over there to Dunlap, though, so it's hard to say.
It's always fun to read the officials.
See if we're right or wrong on these calls.
It's going to be offsetting penalties.
We have 2 penalties on the play. One is for a block in the back.
Block in the back.
Eagles. The other one after the play, dead ball, unsportsmanlike.
Unsportsmanlike. So we hear it come over the PA.
Panthers.
Should be offsetting right there, though, so nothing comes of it. Little mistakes, though, by each team. You got to continue to clean those up. Just can't manage to have that come the second half.
Yeah, it's one thing that you don't want to see late in a game. It takes you out of field position to score, both with Dunlap and Washington. Washington right now with a pretty handily lead here on Dunlap, but Dunlap, if they're going to get back into this game, you got to try to clean those up.
So apparently not offsetting.
After the play, that one is marked off, and we end up with a second.
We end up with a second and 2.
Okay.
Out after all that. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. If somebody would so graciously explain to us, maybe an ex-official or somebody that's done some officiating before. We need a rules analyst, perhaps. Gene Steratore of sorts.
We need to go to the booth and try to figure that one out.
Maybe one of these weeks our own Joey Wright will call in and act as our rules analyst. But for now, we'll just go with what the officials are saying on the field, 2nd and 2. 8:35 left to go. Hands it off again to Orr. Lunges forward. Should be enough for a first down on the short run.
Or the carry for the Eagles. Tackle made by 97.
Will he have enough for the first down?
Gain down to the 15.
It will be enough for a first down.
Will be enough for a Dunlap first down.
Have to score on this drive if you're Dunlap. Got to put some points on the board and have not scored offensively today. The only points for the Eagles coming the defensive variety. Gabe Munoz, a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Other than that, it's been a quiet night for a Dunlap offense that's been pretty electric in recent weeks.
And we've seen some nice runs from Orr. Graham Glover kind of quiet here in the game now, but they're able to move that ball downfield, but just not getting it in the red zone.
And more flags fly. Delay of game. More unforced errors.
5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
It's tough to see if you're a coaching staff. You work on things like that in practice, and then just once the game, or I should say once the lights come on, those penalties are there on the field. It's tough to see.
Clock continues. Does not run, in fact. 10 on the play clock. Need to get a snap off this time. Here's Burke. Burke will give it back to Orr. Tries to change direction. Nowhere to go. Stopped up right there. Washington defensive line coming in, making a stop. Garrett Cox.
By number 5, Eli Bear. A loss of 1 on the play. Second.
Might have to go back to the air if you're Dunlap here.
Dunlap.
They've shown some flashes of that. Had a couple of close plays. Receivers dropped a couple of near catches for the Eagles. See if they employ the air attack again. Here's Madden Burke dropping way back. He will go to the air. Fires over. Is it intercepted? Incomplete. The official frantically waving his arms. Panthers thought they had an INT right there, and it was oh so close.
That looked really close. Still a great effort.
How about Andre Lewis, brother of Drew Lewis? Of course, a basketball, football star as of recent for the Panthers. Andre nearly on the INT. Dangerous play right there. Off the hands of Ryan Dietz. Catch a break if you're the Eagles.
Almost a sigh of relief if you're Dunlap. They didn't get the ball intercepted there. They get one more shot at this on 3rd and 16.
Burke dropping way back again. Plenty of pressure coming up. There's a flag coming in. Throws it to no man's land. Nobody in the area, and a flag comes out. Carter Perina thinks it might be on Washington for a roughing.
Burke's still down there.
Burke is down, and the trainers will come out.
Did you see the hit? Yeah, I was kind of looking.
We'll have a stoppage of play here. Plenty of pressure came in, got Burke right there, kind of wrapped him up.
Got him by the foot a little bit too.
Maybe twisted a leg perhaps a little bit. We do have some penalties to sort out as well, but of course, first and foremost, want to make sure Madden Burke is all right.
Yeah, we've seen our fair share of those penalty flags coming down.
Especially in a...
And this one's a holding call.
It's going to be declined in favor of the intentional grounding, so that was not a roughing the passer call. It was an intentional grounding call. Again, want to make sure Madden Burke is all right. Got to imagine it's cold out there as well. Any hit that you might take, he's going to get up and...
Almost a stinger.
Yeah, definitely.
Feel it.
Probably stings quite a bit. He's going to walk off under his own power, maybe sit out for a few plays. Grab some water. So they'll now employ the freshman quarterback. How about Johnny Bargan? He came in and played majority, if not all, of the game against Limestone. Had an excellent showing. Brett Kazelit's got some young quarterbacks to work with on his roster, one of which is Bargan.
And it's nice for Bargan because he's already had those reps on a Friday night in a Mid-Illini game. So he's going to come out here again. This game against Washington, a bigger moment for him. But he could try to lead the charge, get the Eagles back into this game.
How about a clutch performance? Can Johnny Bargan lead the Eagles back? But he is well into country mile territory now, John. Fourth and forever. Bargan's going to take the snap. Plenty of pressure. He's going to air it out. Nobody home. Washington intercepts it. It's McQueary. Did he get it before he stepped out? I don't know if he was able to catch. He was able to get it, indeed. So it is an interception for McQueary. Would have been a turnover on downs either way. So big stand there from the Washington defense, and they are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, they are. And it's really started not only with the offense, but sometimes when you score a lot of points, defense gets overlooked. It is a great defensive effort here from Washington tonight. Just able to shut down anything that Dunlap's throwing at him. And we talked about this before the game, Gavin. They have so many weapons on that team that can score with Graham Glover and Braden Orr, and Washington's had an answer for each one.
Certainly have. Looking to put some more points on the board right here. Hands it off to McQueary. He'll be brought down quickly, though. Maybe a gain of a yard or two.
The carry for the Panthers. Tackled by 24, Mueller.
Plenty of time left to go, John. I think it's, as we saw early in the game, it can start with the defense, too.
Yeah, it can. And, you know, that's the thing, Gavin. It's a couple big stops here and there, but we haven't really seen Dunlap able to string together that big drive that puts him right in position to score because Washington's defense has been so locked in. So
how about locked in? There's some locked-in play from the Dunlap defense. Looks like they'll give him forward progress before he's backed up behind the line of scrimmage. Not going anywhere, though. Graham Glover comes in for the stop. 3rd and 7. Graham Glover, of course, great offensively, but he's one of this team's leader in tackles. Also has plenty of tackles for loss, has a couple of INTs on the year. Really, he gets it done everywhere.
Yeah, it's nice when you have, you know, players on both sides of the ball that can play it offensively, defensively, and like you said, Gavin, he's really shined not only offense but defense.
Stewart, 3rd and 7. And we'll have a penalty flag. False start, perhaps. Delay of game.
5-yard penalty.
Can't say I was keeping an eye on the game clock. Don't think the Panthers were either.
No, but it puts Dunlap in that position. If they can get a big stop here, able to get the ball back, Washington, long way to go here.
There's a lot of time left to go in this game. Dunlap is by no means out of this. Under 10 to go in the game clock again. Hands it off to McQueary, trying to make a man miss. There goes McQueary. He's up to the 40, and he's going to be brought down. Bargaining for a flag right there is the Washington sideline. Looked like he might have near horse collar. They do bring him down just short of midfield.
He has really been a workhorse tonight, though. He is getting his touches and getting some big yards.
Certainly is. Big play there for the Panthers. McQueary, several big runs in this game. He looks gassed. Hands on the knees.
It's hard to not be out of breath when he's been running all over the field tonight.
The cold Central Illinois air getting to him. From the 45, gives it back to McQueary. And a flag comes in quickly.
By the Panthers,
will it be all for nothing? He is certainly gassed, though. He is, see him just kind of walking around slowly back there. It will be moving backwards for the Panthers. So again, Dunlap, another opportunity to capitalize on a penalty. You feel like if they want to do something, they got to really get it sooner than later.
Yeah, they do. And Gavin, it's just you don't want to put yourself in that situation where you're running against the clock there.
Certainly don't want to be against the clock. Hands it back off here. Not McQueary.
Number 9, Tyler Humphrey.
Tyler Humphrey. Get a few yards back after the penalty that has them way long.
Up to the 37.
He'll get a few back there.
Seconds and 18, Washington.
Looks like McQueary might just stay off unless they can get it near a first down. They're going to bring Carbaugh back on, and last time we saw Carbaugh trot back onto the field for a last-second substitution, he made a big catch.
Yeah, might be a trend.
See if that trend continues. Making some late subs here. Jacob Walker trots on into the backfield behind Jake Stewart. And we'll get a timeout.
Second down play, we have a timeout, Washington.
Take a quick look at our
Score
sponsors
the
for tonight's
upgrade you've
game.
always wanted during the Total Sales
State
Blitz
Farm.
at every Upstream Auto Group dealer. New inventory is in stock at inbound.
444-4441 or at jakewestroninsurance.com or any of our other good neighbors in the Peoria area. Jody Brown in Peoria, Zach Butler in Pekin. Make sure to give them a call or visit their website. Also by Kep's Sports Bar and Grill. Make sure to stop by Kep's before or after any big game for a quick bite to eat or drink. Visit Kep's in Washington.
High School 2022 Hall of Fame class before the varsity game.
Also got to think about Madden Burke there, John, as he exited the last drive with an injury. Of course, hope he's all right. He's had a couple injuries this year. He was in concussion protocol following their matchup with Pekin.
Boy-girl cheer performance.
Obviously want to see him get back out here for the remainder of the game. We'll see if he does so. Here's Stewart, though. Little fake there. Is McQueary going to have enough? McQueary gets up. He will get first down yardage, and what a play call right there from Darryl Crouch.
No, there's about 2 or 3 plays where he just got caught, and he almost would have been gone again on that one, Gavin. That was another great run. He is just all over the field tonight. And how do you really put a stop to a player like that? You can't.
Unstoppable. clutch performance from Cannon McQueary. Taking another breather on the sideline right there.
Well deserved.
Certainly well deserved. Picked up a big first down, an unlikely one at that. Jacob Walker back into the game. Carbaugh trots back out. 6 on the play clock. Needs to get set quickly. And a flag comes in. Both teams pointing at each other.
Another penalty before the snap.
But it looks like Washington will move backwards on a false start.
False start against the Panthers.
As much as Dunlap's had their fair share of penalties, Washington, something
5-yard
Daryl Crouch
penalty.
will be emphasizing in practice very heavily this week.
Hey, well, in both sides, you know, those penalties, especially as we start to heat up here, you know, Washington, if they can hold on tonight, get a win, that'll be their 4th win. Dunlap would still be sitting at 4 wins. So each team, you know, in control of their own kind of destiny there, getting that 5th win. But little things you have to clean up before playoffs start if you're able to make it.
Takes it himself. Stewart nowhere to go. Swallowed up quickly.
Quarterback keeper by 14, Jake Stewart.
Stewart not going anywhere, and time continues to
by
just kind of
20,
tick
the
away.
captain.
And again, that's Dunlap's biggest enemy
No
right
gain
now
on
is
play,
the clock.
2nd and 15, Washington.
Defensive line pretty good for the most part. They've been faked out on a few plays. McQuarrie's definitely shown up tonight, as we've seen. Seen some nice plays, though, on the flip side. Pierce Morrison, Sam Morgan, Gavin Ward. That big front for Dunlap. Here's the keeper again. Going to pitch it back out to McQuarrie. Rather, that's going to be Walker.
Carry by the Panthers 25.
And Washington's got to like the position they're in now because only 1:30 until this 3rd quarter comes to an end. They're doing a good job of eating up clock, keeping the ball on the ground with the 24-7 lead. It's going to make it really challenging for Dunlap. Not to say that it's out of question that they can't come back, but the way Dunlap's, or I should say the way Washington's defense has been dialed in, it's going to be a tough challenge.
Quite obviously, the less time they have to work with, the less likely a comeback seems. That last first down they got certainly helped chew off quite a bit more clock. Bring Harlan out for 3rd and long, 3rd and 13. Neating up that play clock as well, winding it way down. Here's the snap. Hands it back to Walker. Walker finds some room to run. He will not have enough for a first down. Another penalty flag, and a couple of Dunlap players threw their hands up, seeming a little disgruntled. Will this be against the Eagles?
Let's see here.
35.
Nope, it will be against Washington, but kind of a flag fest, I guess, if you want to call it.
You could call it that, yeah.
Backwards, the Panthers will go.
We've you know, 2 teams, one in white, one in orange, but we've seen a lot of yellow out there tonight.
Certainly have. Don't know that either of these teams really employ yellow in their school colors. Gold for Dunlap, but it's definitely got a different look to it. 3rd and very long. 3rd and 21 to be exact.
Well, with Washington going 4 wide, see if they elect to pass. I mean, there's really no reason to, if with a lead like this, or just try to run the clock out here and maybe save that 3rd down play.
5 on the play clock. Need to go quickly, trying to chew up as much time as possible. They do get it off with 1 second. Hands it back off. McQuarrie trying to do something, but Dunlap got his number that time, and that is likely where we will end things in the 3rd quarter. Lots of flags, some good defense. We do see a score, though, in the 3rd quarter from the Panthers.
Ball spotted at the 48-yard line, and as we finish the
And we will finish the 3rd quarter, 24-7 leading. Let's get a quick message from Updrain.
Score the upgrade you've always wanted during the Total Sales Blitz at every Updrain Auto Group dealer. New inventory is in stock at Inbound, and we're taking custom orders every day. Plus, over 500 pre-owned, including fresh trades from our huge sale. UpdrainAutogroup.com.
Thanks Duff Drink for sponsoring tonight's contest. Let's take a look at our other great sponsors, Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. Make sure to give Jake a call, and all of our other great neighbors in the Peoria area, Jody Brown in Peoria, Zach Butler in Pekin. Make sure to give them a call for all your insurance needs. Also by Kep's Sports Bar and Grill in Washington. Make sure to check out Kep's before or after any big game. Make sure to visit Kep's for any food and drink you may need. Check out Kep's in Washington. Fourth quarter underway, and it'll be punting to start with for the Panthers. Way back there, here's Coughlin. Boots it away in a fair catch. He will catch it. And they will start their drive with okay field position, nothing special. Just past the 20-yard line. Feel like you need a chunk play, something to get the momentum going, get the wheels turning. Who do you look for a big play?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen him with too much production. Graham Glover, this might be his opportunity to try to get him open. He's been known for some big plays. It's hard to say just keep the ball on the ground when you're down 24-7 in the fourth quarter. You almost got to go back to that passing game that Dunlap was using earlier.
Need to get it back in the air. Who is under center? It looks like Burke is back out there, so thwarted the injury, but they'll give it to Orr to start with, and he is going nowhere.
By the Eagles, number 5, Braden Orr.
How about that Washington defensive line, though? It has been so stacked up front.
Stacked indeed.
Gain of just 1. 2nd and 9, Dunlap.
2nd and 9. Need to make something happen fast. Here's Burke throwing over the middle. Does he have a man? He does have a man, and he slips down right before the 40-yard line, but that's a good chunk of yardage to break off right there.
We talked about getting him involved, and there he was, Graham Glover, able to come back for that one. A little bit underthrown, but able to slide to one knee and catch that ball. Good effort there from Glover.
Glover, big play right there. Puts him just short of the 40-yard line. Still a lot of field to go. Need a score quickly. Here's Burke. They're sticking in the air. Wrapped up, though, the Washington defensive line. Flexing their muscle a little bit. Cox, Prina, and company getting in for the sack.
They got every reason to tonight. They've just been back there putting a lot of pressure on Burke.
2nd and 16, Dunlap.
This is a Dunlap defensive line that doesn't get broke down too often. They are very senior heavy. Definitely had lofty goals for the season. Got in the weight room quite a bit. Definitely need to reevaluate after this game. See if they can make something big happen late. Here's Burke. Screen pass and brought down. Jace Harlan going nowhere, and this Washington Panther team is just everywhere.
And it's been just really impressive to see up front for Washington defensive line, secondary linebackers. They're not letting Dunlap get an inch here. And that's got to be frustrating for Dunlap. They're putting some plays together, but they just can't get the yards they want.
Needs something big to happen here. Graham Glover might be the guy to go to. 2 safeties back. Burke drops back. Heavy pressure, though, and he is sacked once again, and it's Jace Harlan again.
Harlan is just camped out back there.
It's almost like he is behind the offensive line before anybody can realize it.
And Gavin, you mentioned earlier, we don't have the stats in front of us, but he's got a lot of tackles.
It's going to be tough to look at a player of the game. How about players of the game?
Give it to the whole defensive core.
It's a lot of players, but it's all one unit that's been firing tonight. 0 points allowed to the Dunlap offense. Again, Dunlap only scoring on a fumble recovery for a touchdown. We'll bring the punt unit out here. Don't want to chance anything yet, but we're going to have a timeout, and it's going to be a Dunlap timeout.
And before we have that 4th down play, we have a timeout Dunlap.
Talk about so much that defense of Washington. Again, a lot of younger players for the Washington defense. Garrett Cox, a junior. Carter Prina, a sophomore, 6'3" sophomore. Noah Bell, Robert Martin, junior and sophomore respectively. Eli Pappas, Jace Harlan, both juniors. Cannon McQueary, a junior. I mean, lots going to be coming back, and something that the Mid-Illini is going to fear for another couple of years.
Yeah, those are things you want to see, in your team is young players stepping up, shining in big moments, and that just proves really well for the next years to come, like you mentioned, Gavin. Got to feel good about that as a head coach.
Certainly do. 4th and way long, and another flag sends it away.
Blown dead on the snap as a penalty marker once again flies.
It'll be a false start.
Against the Eagles.
I'm running out of things to say for 4th and long. Trying to get creative here, John.
We've overused the country mile.
Country mile's been overused. How about 4th and almost back to the lap?
Yeah, there you go.
Almost back to Dunlap. A long way to go for the first down. See if he can get it off this time. Cox nearly blocking that punt. It's going to take a check up and get right to the 35-yard line.
Punt by the Eagles.
Washington gets the ball back, and do you move kind of into cruise control mode, or do you kind of try to keep your foot on the gas pedal?
I would just continue to eat that clock. Washington's done a really nice job of keeping the ball on the ground, chewing up clock. You get 8 minutes here, a chance to really just control this drive and take that clock, under 5 minutes even. So Washington in the driver's seat, and this would be a very, very challenging comeback for Dunlap. It's not to say it's out of the picture. You have to get some defensive plays, but the offense just hasn't been able to get going with some of those penalties that are hurting them, and then Washington's defense, they just have not slowed down.
Hands it off here. Check who that is. Was it McQueary? Didn't go much anywhere.
I think that was
25. Walker, the carry for the Panthers.
Walker,
yeah. He's been out there now.
5'7" junior. He's come in late in this game, making some things happen. You mentioned Darryl Crouch continues to turn out excellent players in this Washington program. I'm sure there's so many that we don't even see that really hold a big role kind of behind the scenes, if you want to say that.
Yeah, there's so many, key guys in practice. I'm sure a lot of guys that don't get, all the accolades or stats, but they do the little things right. And Washington's showing that tonight. Both sides of the ball, they're doing all the little things.
Walker tried to come over.
Almost looked like a horse collar.
Near horse collar right there. They're not going to call it. He'll be stopped up for a bit of a loss.
Brought down for a loss on the play.
Best case scenario for Dunlap. Got to force a 3-and-out right here, but McQueary, Carbaugh, some of the more notable Panthers offensive players not out there.
Washington.
Definitely trying to give them a breather. They have done a lot of great work in this game so far. Dunlap needing to make a stop, but here comes McQueary for 3rd down, and you got to think he's getting the ball.
You'd like to think so. He's been the guy in these long 3rd down situations. Should be no different right here.
Gives it to McQueary, spins out of a couple tackles, and a whole pile of Eagles and Panthers get together, and he'll be about 5 yards short. Not a bad run right there, but had a long ways to go. 6.5 to go in the game, and it likely is going to be the punt unit on 4th down for the Panthers.
Almost looked like Jake Stewart staying on the field there.
It's kind of hovering around right there, and now they'll shift some guys off. 12 seconds to go on the play clock. I believe Daryl Crouch is going to take a timeout as soon as the play clock's about to expire.
Just more time coming off that clock.
We are going to get a
Penalty
they're going to
marker
just let it
before the
expire.
Fourth down play. Delay of game against
Delay
the
of
Panthers.
game. No harm, no foul. Looks like they'll probably try to bring the
Fourth
punt unit
and
out either
10.
way.
Washington.
But Washington's still in their huddle. Now they'll try it out. And Coughlin will head back to kick away the punt. This would be a great time maybe for Graham Glover to think about a punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah, just one of those big-time plays.
He's going to boot it away, not really going to give him much of a chance to return it, and it's going to take a friendly bounce up to the 15-yard line. What a punt there from Mitch Coughlin.
Yeah, it was great. A couple extra
By the Panthers,
bounces there, able to roll to the
across
15.
midfield.
Dunlap,
Goes to a stop right at the 15-yard line.
like you said,
First
Gavin,
down,
they're
Dunlap.
just kind of been in that position. They've seemed like they've had a long ways to go in a lot of these drives, and this play is no different. Washington's defense hasn't slowed down at all. They can try to cap this one off with another huge stop.
Went to the air on the last drive, connected with Glover once, and again, he had been so special the last few weeks, but Washington keyed in on him well. Keeping two safeties back there, one of them McQueary. Does a lot of great work defensively as well. Here's Burke dropping back. They'll throw a short pass right there. And nice tackling right there. Jace Harlan.
Harlan's all over the field.
Who else but Jace Harlan? We were talking about maybe hold Washington defense player of the game. But Jace Harlan making a case for himself to get it.
Yeah, he is. He has been so good, able to read those plays, get over there. We've seen him on the right-hand side. We've seen him on the left. He's chasing down receivers, running backs, quarterback. Been in on just about every big defensive stop.
Second and 6. Here's Burke going to throw it again. Another short pass. Graham Glover gets the reception, but swallowed up by some Panthers. Looks like he'll have enough for a first down, though. They'll move the chains, but time keeps rolling, and 4.5 left to go. I mean, is it out of question at this point? Is Washington kind of in position to just ride home the last few minutes to a victory?
Yeah, we've only seen the one touchdown from Dunlap, and it came on defense, so you just want that confidence back to know that you can score against Washington in a game like this on offense, but they haven't really gotten to a field position right here in the second half to give themselves a chance to do that.
Burke claps his hands, ready to go. They're going to hand it off here, and nowhere to go. Who else but Jace Harlan?
Phenomenal job of reading those plays. Called his name a lot.
Eagles Nest still faithful over there on the visitor sideline. Get a good look at them right there.
Second and 11, Dunlap.
Staying strong to support their team.
Blackout tonight, bringing the banner. I think we should invest in a banner, maybe, John.
I like that.
People know we're here. Here's Burke going back to throw. He'll find his man open. That's Munoz. He'll get some good yardage. And, again, just day late and $1 short. Feels like a little bit too late for Dunlap.
Yeah, Washington, they knew that coming in. This was going to be a tough game, but their defense answered the call.
I think this is definitely a point where you definitely want to take some positives away for next week, find some things that are working, because, again, a lot of those penalties, a lot of those little mistakes you can certainly try to clean up heading into your remaining few weeks. And Dunlap just one win shy of playoff eligibility. Certainly a good position to get there. Washington, on the other hand, looking like they're going to move to their 4th win of the year. Puts themselves in a really good spot to make the state playoffs. Here's the snap. Burke's going to try to air it out a long ways. It is intercepted on a diving play right there. How about Carbaugh? He's made a couple big catches tonight, one offensively, one defensively.
We've seen some catches like that from Carbaugh at the receiver position, but how about on defense? He's able to go back and get that one dive right in front of it for the pick.
First down, Washington.
Just a great effort.
Big play right there, 3 minutes and 9 seconds to go. Let's get a quick look at our sponsors real quick.
Score the upgrade
State
you've
Farm.
always wanted during the Total Sales Blitz at
Make
every
sure to give
upgrade.
Jake a call for all your insurance needs. 309-444-4441 or at jakewessoninsurance.com. Your other good neighbors in the Peoria area, Zach Butler and Jody Brown. Keps as well. Thanks for their support tonight. Hands it off here and probably just going to kind of
25, Jacob
salt away the
Walker,
last few
period
minutes
for the
here.
Panthers.
3 minutes and counting.
24, Mueller.
Overall, gonna start to wrap things up here. Impressions, first of all, of Washington.
A gain
Yeah,
of
Washington,
3 seconds
you know,
and 7.
went down early
Washington.
after that fumble recovery from Munoz to put Dunlap up 7-0. They didn't let that affect them at all. Jake Stewart busted out a big run, and then from there it's been all Washington. But what more can you say about the offense? The offense has clicked on all cylinders, but the defense, they haven't allowed Dunlap anything through the air, on the ground. They've had little chunk plays here and there, but Washington putting a halt to it.
Walker's going to take the ball again, and he has some room to run. He'll get a nice chunky yardage right there. Getting a little extra playing time. And again, even in these situations, it's always nice to find players that are able to do stuff.
To the 33-yard line. First down, Washington.
In a game like this, too, it gives you a chance to maybe give McQuarrie a little bit of a break, utilize more touches for Walker going forward. You know, get these other guys ready for, you know, another game next week. And, Gavin, if they can cap that one off next week, they'll be playoff eligible.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the tough one out of the way here with Dunlap.
This was a tough game coming in on the schedule. Walker again, but nowhere to go. Swallowed up on the line.
Walker the carry again for the Panthers. He's met as soon as he touched the ball this time.
Jake
by
Christoffel
71.
coming in for the stop.
Loss on the play back to the 38.
Dunlap a big game next week against Morton,
Washington.
and that feels like that's going to have a game with a lot riding on it, as a lot of these games do down the stretch. Again, find some positives to take away for Dunlap. Have to go to the Potters. 2 tough road games in a row. Certainly a test for the Eagles. Just need one more win, though, for playoff eligibility. They finished their year at home against Metamora, and we are going to get victory formation here in Washington. The home side is going to take home their 4th win of the year, move 1 win closer to playoff eligibility. Kneel down one more time. Start to wrap it up, John. What a game from Washington.
Yeah, it's a really impressive effort here from Washington.
They'll do it.
Panthers
Dunlap
go
ready to
back
shake the hands, and
for
Washington
one more
fired
down
up.
on the 3rd down play.
If we have to give a player of the game, I know we'll deliberate that and post that on social media next week, early next week. Keep an eye out for that. But if you had to pick a player of the game, just one player, who would you pick right now?
Jake Stewart. I mean, Jake Stewart with those 2 touchdowns. You know, just your senior out there. It's hard to say. Maybe Keenan McQuarrie, but just 2 guys that really steam-headed that offense. Jace Harlan. I would say if you're just picking a defensive guy that stood out all night, Jace Harlan. You're putting me on the spot, though, Gavin, because this whole team should be player of the game.
That's what I like to do, put you on the spot there, John. I'd probably give it to Jace Harlan. Excellent defensive performance. We'll have to see if we can track down some stats. Try to post that on social media. Keep an eye out for that coming your way next week. Let's give one more shout out to our great sponsors for the week, Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. Give Jake a call at 309-444-4441 at jakewestoninsurance.com, or any of the good neighbors in the Peoria area, Jody Brown in Peoria, Zach Butler in Pekin. Make sure to give them a call for all your insurance needs. And by Kep's Sports Bar and Grill in Washington. Make sure to stop by for a quick bite to eat or drink before or after any big game. Make sure to visit Kep's in Washington. That's going to wrap up things here from Washington. Washington, big winners, 24-7. Big defensive performance. Any final thoughts, John?
Yeah, I just can't say enough about Washington's defense. Came out tonight in a game we thought we would, kind of see back and forth action. Dunlap takes an early lead. Washington ties it, but Washington just defense all night long. Offense was clicking. Tough loss for Dunlap. Going to have to go bounce back next week, try to get that win on the road. We know that's a tough place to play in Morton, but just a great game from Washington. And for Dunlap, too, just kind of limiting some of those, those penalties. That's going to be some things to clean up going forward.
Certainly will be. They've got some big games coming down the stretch. Both teams just one win from playoff eligibility. I would certainly expect both teams to make some noise in the state playoffs, perhaps even into November. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Not going to want to miss a second of the action in the coming weeks with ClutchSportsOwl.com. Make sure to give all of our social media handles a follow: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. We will keep you posted on the big games and big performers of the week. But how about a big shout out to our great crew for coming out to Washington tonight. On our cameras, it's Lateef Love and Teddy Ball doing a fantastic job for us. Rodrigo Perez anchoring us at the controls. Great job, Rodrigo. Alex Davis taking pictures will be on our social medias in the coming days. For John Camosa, I'm Gavin Russell. Thanks for tuning in. Washington big winners, 24-7 over Dunlap. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for more in the coming weeks.